You see the red and blue lights behind you. Your hands tighten on the steering wheel. Your heart starts beating faster. You are not hiding anything. You are not trying to run. You just want this traffic stop to end. The officer walks up to your window. Flashlight in one hand. Voice calm. Eyes watching everything. License. Registration. Proof of insurance. You hand them over. You answer only what you need to answer. Then the officer looks past you. Into the back seat. Toward the floor. Toward the bag. Toward the trunk. And then comes the question. What's inside your car? This is the moment most drivers ruin everything. Not because they are guilty. Not because they have something illegal. But because they panic. They try to sound harmless. They try to sound cooperative. They try to explain too much. And the worst thing you can say is, nothing. You can check. That one sentence can change the entire stop. Because now you did not just answer a question. You may have opened the door. You may have turned a normal traffic stop into a search. You may have given away a right you did not even realize you had. And once the search begins, you are no longer controlling the conversation. The officer is looking through your car, opening compartments, checking bags, moving things around. And even if nothing is found, you are standing there on the roadside, helpless, wondering why you said yes so quickly. This is why silence matters. Not rude silence, not angry silence, controlled silence. The kind that says, I understand what is happening, and I am not going to talk myself into trouble. When an officer asks, what's inside your car? You do not need to give a speech. You do not need to list every item. You do not need to say, just clothes. You do not need to say, only work stuff. You do not need to say, nothing illegal, because the more you talk, the more doors you create. Just clothes becomes, where are you coming from? Work stuff becomes, what kind of work? Nothing illegal becomes, why would you say that? Now you are defending yourself against suspicion that may not have existed 10 seconds ago. That is the trap. Most people think the dangerous sentence is a confession, but often, the dangerous sentence is an invitation. Go ahead, take a look. I don't mind. I have nothing to hide. These sound innocent, but in a traffic stop, innocent words can carry legal weight. The safer answer is calm, short, and clear. Officer, I do not consent to any searches. Say it once. Say it respectfully. Do not argue. Do not insult. Do not explain. And do not physically resist. Because refusing consent does not always stop the officer from searching. But it does make your position clear. It shows you did not voluntarily give permission. That matters later. On the roadside, your job is not to win an argument. Your job is to stay safe, stay calm, and protect your rights without escalating the situation. The officer may say, if you have nothing to hide, why won't you let me look? Do not take the bait. That question is designed to make you feel guilty for using your rights. But rights are not only for guilty people. Rights exist because innocent people need protection too. So you repeat calmly, I do not consent to a search. The officer may say, this will only take a minute. Do not debate. Do not say, fine but be quick, because fine is the word they need. Instead, stay firm. I do not consent to a search. The officer may ask, are there any weapons, drugs, or large amounts of cash in the car? This is where your nerves can betray you. You may feel pressure to answer quickly. You may think silence makes you look suspicious, but over-explaining can hurt you. A simple response is stronger. I am going to remain silent. Then stop talking. Not because you are hiding something, because you understand that every sentence can be twisted, misunderstood, or used to justify the next question. You are not there to prove your innocence on the roadside. You are there to handle the stop safely. There is another mistake drivers make. They start guessing. They say, my friend left a bag here. I don't know what's in the trunk. That's not mine. I borrowed this car. These statements may be true, but they can also create suspicion. Now the officer is thinking, unknown bag, unknown owner, unknown contents. And suddenly your words have made the car look more suspicious than it looked before. So remember this. Do not guess. Do not explain things you do not have to explain. Do not volunteer information. Do not answer questions you do not fully understand. Keep your hands visible. Keep your voice steady. Ask clear questions. Am I free to leave? If the answer is yes, leave calmly. If the answer is no, ask, am I being detained? Then stop talking. This does not mean you should be disrespectful. Disrespect is not strength. Arguing on the roadside is not courage. Trying to teach the officer the law in the middle of a traffic stop is usually a bad strategy. The strongest driver is not the loudest driver. The strongest driver is the one who stays controlled. You give required documents. You follow lawful commands. You do not consent to searches. You do not answer investigative questions. You do not lie. You do not resist. You do not panic. Because the moment police ask what is inside your car, they may not only be asking for information, they may be looking for permission. They may be looking for nervous words. They may be looking for something that turns a small stop into something bigger, and you must not help them build that bridge. So never say, "Nothing you can check." Never say, "I don't care, look around." Never say, "I have nothing to hide." Instead, stay calm and say, "I do not consent to any searches. And if questions continue, I am going to remain silent." That is not being difficult. That is being smart. Because once you understand your rights, you stop reacting out of fear. You stop trying to sound innocent. You stop giving answers that can be turned against you. And you start doing the one thing every driver should do during a traffic stop. Stay calm, stay respectful, and never give away more than the law requires. Subscribe, because one wrong sentence during a traffic stop can cost more than you think.